morning, everyone. Welcome to the webinar presentation today. I'm Ashni, the Demand Gen Manager with Replicon, and I'm joined with my colleague Curtis, who is our Product Marketing Specialist. Today, the webinar is about how you can gain time intelligence insights with Tableau or Power BI and other tools. We will be showing you how the Replicon platform can integrate with BI programs to give you deeper insights into the operations of your organization. Well, with no more delay, I'm just going to pass things over to Curtis for getting started with the webinar. Curtis, it's all yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashni. Hi, everyone. This is Curtis. Before we get going, we're just going to go over a quick review of the agenda for today. So here is our agenda. First, we'll touch on some of the benefits of the Replicon platform and how it can connect to BI programs to give you in-depth analytics about your organization. Then we'll hop onto the product to see everything in action. Afterwards, we'll look at how our platform has helped customers' organizations manage their time most effectively. And finally, we'll move into a Q&A session. And just a little housekeeping before we continue. Throughout today's webinar, you will be on mute. If you have any questions, you could submit them in the question box at the right-hand side of the screen. And Ashni and I will get to as many as we can in the Q&A period at the end of the overview. At Replicon, we believe that people's time is a strategic asset and its management should be of top priority. To run efficiently and make the best decisions, organizations need to account for 100% of all of their resource time. Still, it's easy to forget how much time you have at your disposal. A 1,000 employee workforce logs over 2 million hours a year. For most businesses, understanding how this time has been utilized can be difficult. One reason for this is that following time information across different software can be tough. The process can be slow and information can be lost or mistranslated. There needs to be some way to bridge this gap. Organizations can face many challenges affecting costs, projects, gross pay, compliance, utilization, productivity, profitability, and more. And business leaders need consistent data to make the correct decisions for their organization and steer towards efficiency and growth. Replicon's time intelligence platform provides businesses with the single source of truth that they need for their time data. What differentiates us from all other vendors out there is our unified approach to making it hassle-free to manage time as an asset. Here's how we do it. Our platform meets all time tracking needs and is super configurable for all your business requirements. It can scale seamlessly from large to small organizations and can grow with a company regardless of how rapidly they expand. If that expansion is global, Replicon can grow in that regard too. With features like multiple currency, languages, and time zones built in, Replicon truly excels at an international level and provides security and governance for businesses so that their data is safe. Replicon is mobile first and built with the changing nature of the modern workforce in mind. It uses the latest and greatest tech and is constantly evolving to help your business manage time in the most efficient manner. Finally, you can easily connect our platform with your ecosystem using our web services API, getting time, cost, pay, and even billing data in the backend systems of your liking with ease. Replicon offers a comprehensive suite so you can tailor the program to be whatever you need it to be in a hassle-free manner. You can make the user experience as simple or as in-depth as you want. In the platform, you can manage time, costs, people, projects, and profits for your business. Today, we will be looking at how our platform can not only interpret and display the information you feed it, but also interact with different BI tools to give you total control over your information. We hear constantly that businesses run into challenges around BI because of their siloed data and closed systems. It's not uncommon for an organization to get custom connectors built or pull this information into Excel. They have multiple team members spending their time massaging the data so that they consolidate it and attempt to build some sort of analytics. Businesses then run into the issues with admin overheads, stale data, and concerns around access and data security. The right approach to enable an organization's BI ecosystem is providing robust API support for fast, real-time data extraction, having pre-built connectors for any commonly used BI tools, and supporting custom analytic requirements to consolidate data from other sources with the help of API to pull and feed into data lakes, data warehouses, and BI tools. That is how Replicon approaches business analytics. You have the power of choice. You can decide to go with our built-in analytics, Or if you want to power your BI ecosystem with Replicon data along with data from other systems, our pre-built connectors for Tableau, Power BI, Google, BigQuery, and our official powerful API can help. With our built-in analytics, you can leverage our pre-packaged dashboard and configure reports to view the data you need in the way you need it. You are empowered with historical information that enables planning and forecasting. Business leaders get real-time visibility into the metrics they need, and all data can be shared with key decision makers. But in cases where businesses need the time intelligence data to consolidate with data from another system, we have you covered. You can liberate the time intelligence data and power your BI ecosystem. Our platform has pre-packaged connectors for BI tools like Tableau or Power BI. If you have your own data warehousing strategy, maybe it's on-premises or cloud-based, we can support you with our robust API. We also have a connector for Google BigQuery for cloud-based data lakes and data warehouses. To make it easy to use, we provide samples, dashboards, and workbooks, which allow you to experience the powerful Replicon data to its fullest. We also have support predefined business objects for data modeling. Finally, our API is permission-driven to ensure data security. In this demo, I will run you through the powerful analytics embedded in our time intelligence platform. Then, I will walk you through how we can liberate this data and connect Power BI and Tableau. We'll first walk through workbooks and Power uses of Tableau, and then switch over to Power BI to look at the similarities in the functionality. So I'm just going to switch my screen over here now. And there we are. So this is the Replicon platform. At the heart of Replicon platform is time, and we capture time in a number of different ways. We have our online platform, which you see here, but we also have a mobile app and a cloud clock. So you have a ton of options when it comes to capturing your time. But time isn't the only thing we manage. We have a robust project system that lets you manage projects from their inception all the way to their completion and gives you a lot of information and history on all of your project data. We also do a billing function where we can invoice directly from our product, which you can see here, and we can help with expense tracking, vacation planning, all your time tracking needs. What can be difficult though is once you have all this information, there's a lot of data to sort through. And data can be useless unless you have some sort of meaning to it, right? You need visualizations, you need it to be interpreted. So at Replicon, we give you a lot of tools to recognizing what your data means. One of the most straightforward ways is through reports, and we've all seen reports, and we have a host of pre-configured reports here. They cover an expansive different reporting options, but sometimes you might find you need to tweak something just a little bit or change something that you need a little bit more. So here we have fully customizable reports. So you can change every metric, you can sort things, you can filter things. It's really up to you to make these reports how you want them. If you need something a little bit more visual, maybe with a little bit more panache, we have our dashboards. And like our reports, our dashboards are fully customizable and fully configurable. So again, you have the power to sort through everything as you need be. So we have a ton of different metrics that you can look through, sort by, you can sort them by year, and really make them your own. These are all permission-based, so you don't have to worry about people who aren't supposed to be accessing any of this information. And they're perfect for exporting into slideshows, presentations, and are great for someone who needs to just look at a quick visualization and understand an organization's health at a glance. So one example of this would be, we have our annual client profitability here. And if we want to drill down into it, we can click on our dashboard and it takes us into a little bit of a deeper metric so we can see our client profitability by year. And we could also drill into each client. So here we have XOXO Communications as our least profitable client. So it might be good to understand which of those projects are making us the least money. And we can dig into each of those and understand that a little more. Now we understand that Replicon isn't your only place you're storing data. You'll have CRM programs, ERP, HR, and they all have information that needs to interact with each other. So that's why Replicon has built-in support for BI connectors, one of those being Tableau. We connect our connectors through web data, so it connects directly to your Replicon instance, and it's super easy to upload and configure everything. So here you'll see me logging in. What's important about this is a couple things. One is that by logging into an instance, whoever is using this BI tool is only getting access to the information that they have access to. So they're not going to see any extraneous information that they're not supposed to see. The other really nice thing is it gives you a live feed of all of your information. So you don't have to worry about tooling through Excel sheets, if the data is correct, if it's old or new. Everything that you enter right into your instance will feed right into these connectors, and you have real-time updates of all of your data. And we find that Tableau has options for every kind of user, for a more general user who just wants to understand their company's information, to the power user who wants to dig down a little bit deeper and make their own charts. First, we'll cover kind of the more general use cases of Tableau with our workbooks. So workbooks are great for people who just need to take a look at a screen and understand the health of our business. You can sort through things like hours and cost, but just for our instances, example here, we're going to do cost just to keep hours just to keep everything a little bit consistent. And we believe that at Replicon that your time should be 100% accounted for, and it really tells an important story of your organization. A lot of companies say, okay, if we're working on a project, we're making money, but that's not always the case. You have non-billable hours and billable hours within a project. And we really want people to understand where all their time is going. So a good place to start with this story is on the left side here. We can see we have work time, which is green, and that's healthy stuff. We have time off, which is normal with any organization. But here's an interesting gap. We have our estimated hours and then a huge gap between those actual estimated hours. And when you combine that with our overallocated hours, it really tells a story. We haven't used all our company's hours efficiently because we have these overallocated hours, which is usually overtime, and that's incurring extra overhead that doesn't need to happen, especially when you have these estimated hours to use. So by drilling into each dashboard, we can kind of understand where our hours are going a little bit better. So a quick glance at our sub-departments, and we can see there's one department that is using a lot more overallocated hours than the rest, especially considering how many working hours they use, and that would be marketing. So if you compare them directly to customer success, a similar amount of overallocated hours, but not quite as many working hours. So this warrants some looking into. Maybe our marketing team is struggling and they're having to work a lot extra of hours just to keep up with projects. Maybe they just need more employees, but regardless, we're able to identify this at one quick glance. And as we were saying before, it's important to know about the productivity of your organization. So here we can see our organization is 89% productive, and that means we have 89% of our hours being used on projects. That's not the whole story. We'll dig into that a little bit later, but you can dive down and see who is using their hours for project and non-project time and identify where you might be leaking some of that non-project time. And when you combine that with your utilization, which will tell you which of your time is billable and non-billable, then you start to get the real clear picture of how your hours are being used. So obviously, an organization wants to maximize their billable time. That's when they're making money. That's when they're getting projects done. Non-billable time isn't making anyone money, but you're still paying employees to do that work. So here we can identify, we have 5 resources that are not logging any billable time. And that could be for a number of reasons. One could be they're not tracking their time correctly, which is important to have a discussion about, because if an organization wants to use these tools correctly, they need everyone on board with tracking their time. So we need to make sure they're always tracking their activities, projects, and everything that they do during the day is being put towards correct metrics. The other reason could be they're actually not logging any billable time. So they're being mired down in all this stuff that isn't contributing to the overall finishing of the project. So again, we really want our employees to be working on that billable time, getting projects done, and contributing to the overall profits of our organization. And we can see how those hours start to affect the projects. So here we have our projects, top 10 by total hours, and there's one that really sticks out for having kind of an outlier metric, and that's our dashboarding. We have a ton of non-billable hours being sunk into this project. So to dive down, and if we take a closer look here, we can see that throughout 2018, first 9 months were normal hours used, right? 1,000 hours, pretty consistent across the board. But suddenly that spiked in October, which is a little odd. So let's dig down and take a little bit of a deeper look to see maybe why that happened. So here we can see we have a lot of users on this project, and they're all spread pretty thin. We have a few users that are consistently working, but the rest are just logging a ton of non-billable time. So this might be a little bit of a runaway project, and we need to start reining things in and focusing in on getting everything done so we're not continuing to hemorrhage money on this project. Another aspect of profitability that people don't always take into account is overhead. And that's not just vacation time. How vacation time is managed is very misunderstood. So for example, if you take a look at our time off calendar up in the top right here, you can see October has 3,000 more vacation hours than September. So that means September has 3,000 more working hours, and October, our employee base is going to be a lot thinner. So that might mean people are working on extra projects, they're doing extra work, and maybe working overtime, which is increasing our overhead. So by understanding how we distribute our vacation time and schedule people's time off, we can better manage our overhead and prevent costs from ballooning. And we can sort that through by different types of leave. So we have personal leave, vacation leave. If you want to drill down a little bit deeper, you can sort each metric by most or least, so you can see if there's any outliers in their vacation time. So here as an example, Mila Sanson is logging almost 100 more hours of personal leave than anyone else. The reason behind that will be known to organization, maybe not, but again, it gives you the opportunity to understand how your time is being used and to really streamline efficiency. And we know that there are people who will need more than just our predefined charts. These are nice because the general user can download one of our workbooks and then plug in their instance and everything will populate automatically. But some people like to drill down a little further and create their own charts. And Tableau offers that functionality too. So one of the most common asks we get is about project information. So let's pull our project information here and it'll start to populate a bunch of different metrics that we can sort by in our sheet over here. For me, you're obviously, if you want a chart, you're going to need a legend. So I like to sort by project name, and then we'll load in another metric, and we'll quickly see how easy it is to create charts. And again, this can be as complex or as simple as you'd like it to be. And this will be a nice example of how easy and how quickly you can start creating your own data. So here, with a couple clicks of the mouse, we've pulled in quite a bit of data, and we can see which of our total estimated contracts are the highest, which are the least, and kind of understand where our organization is at project-based. Now, if we want to make this a little bit more complex, we can start to pull in other metrics that will start to make things a little bit more thorough. So if we want to pull in timesheet data, we can see, okay, they're working together. And let's pull in department. And you can see that adds another handshake. And you can start to see how the data all flows together. So once you get other programs from your ecosystem plugged into these BI tools, you're really given a limitless amount of metrics that you can explore and experiment with to really understand how your organization is using everything. And we have a similar tool with Power BI. So Power BI is very similar to Tableau. We just like to give you options so you can use whatever connector works best for your organization. So you'll see here, from one instance, we have 213,000 different data points. So you have so much information to explore. And again, with Power BI, you can control how these all interact with each other. So we have everything sorted into departments and then into sub-departments, and you can really get a nice idea of how they all work with each other. And then when you've defined those pathways, you get your workbooks. So again, another plug and play, very little effort on your guys' side. All you need to do is connect your instance and you're getting all this information fed and displayed. What's nice too is you can also export this into Replicon and import from Replicon. So it works both ways. If you have an on-premises warehouse or you have an online data lake like BigQuery, these interact very easily with those two. Replicon actually has a built-in connector for BigQuery, so you can really have your ecosystem working in cohesion without having to worry about security leaks or data missing somewhere. You have everything under your control and you choose how it interacts with everything else. And that will bring us to the end of my little demonstration for today. I'm going to hop back into our PowerPoint just so we can take a look at some examples of how our BI connectors have helped other organizations increase productivity and efficiency. All right. And so our first example is a service firm that had manual processes around tracking time and projects and ran into costing challenges that prevented them performing any cross-analysis. Replicon helped them with managing projects and resources and enabled productivity calculations. Our integration with Power BI helped them track data and better manage costs. Here we have a transportation company that tracked employee overtime data in Excel. They had no way to internally track time and shift data so that they could plug into an analytic tool. they needed a better way to track worker fatigue in order to ensure their safety and better utilize their resources. After getting on board with Replicon, they are able to keep track of 100% of their employees' time using our platform. The organization was using this data to connect to a BI tool that better allowed them to understand their resources and schedule their employees more efficiently. By integrating with Tableau, they could better understand how these resource hours fed into their overall budget, and the tools helped greatly with overall cost management. Here's a quick look at benefits and how we have helped companies like yours. We have reduced revenue leakages, improved utilization, streamlined workflows, and reduced compliance risks with accounting standards. And with that, we are at the end of today's presentation. Like we discussed before, we have a comprehensive suite to help businesses manage all their time, projects, compliance, people, and profits. Today, we saw just some of the capabilities around business intelligence and data analytics, and we look forward to talking to you again when we discuss some of our other solutions. We also have a wealth of resources available to you, and Ashni will be dropping some links in the chat here very shortly, and these include some of the workbooks for the connectors we saw and an informational video so you can better understand how BI works and how it can help your organization.